I did a video a while back on my folding knives that I had just collected over the years. So I got my bin out of fixed blade knives. So I'm going to make a video, just go through my inventory of basically just my fixed blade stuff. And so yeah, I'll just go through them. And just like I did the other video. I just grab them in random order. They're nothing special or like high-end collector's pieces or anything. They're just my stuff I've picked up over the years. So here's this little one here. It's a mini K-bar. I got this a couple years ago. I think I just got it because it was on sale. It's a pretty decent little knife, actually. It's like molded after a K-bar. I think you can get them without the serrations, but like I like the serrations, and it's got the little like rubber feel grip on it. Some people like that and some people don't. Anyways, it's a little mini K-bar. It's actually decent little knife. I think it was like $8 or something like that. A couple I picked up recently, like at auction. There's this little knife here. This is a really decent knife. I don't know who makes it. It doesn't say anything on it. It seems to be like I'm not sure if it's probably stainless steel, and it's got a plastic handle, but it's not really like a cheap plastic, and it's got brass pins in it, and it's full tang. It's a nice little like hunting knife or something like that. I actually really like this knife, and some of them like are cleaned up like this. The blade, it just needs to be polished out. And anyway, so that's this little knife. I picked this one up at auction, fairly cheap. And this is a Chris knife. I'm guessing it was like a decorator piece, but it's not a cheap decorator piece. Like the edge is not sharpened. It's actually quite blunt, but the shape is nice, and it's got the maker on there. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but it's on there anyways. Japanese made blade. And it's been cleaned up. It had like a whole ton of rust on this thing. This thing was completely brown when I got it. That's a cool knife. Then I've got sheaths and stuff in here too. Like I got this sheath that's really nice. And it's got the lag strap, but it's got a really ridiculously long blade, like a straight blade in here. I have no idea if it's for a specific knife, or if this is how they sold it, just as a sheath. The maker is right here on it, if somebody knows. Maybe it's pretty decent. I like it. I wish I could get a knife that would fit it. None of my knives really are appropriate for this sheath. I got a few knives. My good buddy, he sent me these knives. This thing here is like just, I can't believe how good this knife is. It's all metal. Like I'm assuming it's an alloy handle, and then the steel blade. But for a knife like this, it's really decent. Like it's well made. And I'm assuming it's made in China. I mean, it doesn't say, but if you took the blade out, it might say China under there. Like, I mean, they don't come from anywhere else. And it's a hollow handle knife. I really am a fan. I've got quite a few of these hollow handle knives. And it's got the stuff in there. And the compass. It's a really decent, and this one's actually pretty functional. Sometimes like these hollow handle knives will be kind of sketchy, but this one's decent if you want to really carry a really big knife like this around. But I'm happy to have it. just put it there. And there's my Schrade. I'm not sure if I showed this in another video or not. This is a Perang knife. It's like this. It's pretty decent. You could put a lanyard, which I'm really glad when they do that on machetes. They put a lanyard loop there so you don't lose them, like flies out of your hand or something. But here's the knife here. Really decent knife. Really decent bush knife. And these aren't expensive either. I think it was like about, I don't even know if it was $20 when I got this, because I got it on sale. I think I got it on sale at Canadian Tire, but I'm not positive. But really good knife. Let's see here. I got one of these knives. I think they're Swedish knives, because I think this is a Swedish one. They come with like a whole little manual and everything when you get them. But these knives are one of the best. I think right now the way knives are, like German knives back in the old days for hunting knives were like super good, and I think right now these Swedish knives are probably the best. And the blades are, but they come extremely sharp, and they're really good quality for what you get. And they make a wide range of them. Like they go from like super cheap, like say $20 range, like right up to like $80. And I'm not sure what the difference is between them other than the color and then sometimes the length of the blade. These are really decent knives. If you can get one, I highly recommend it. And I like the sheath. Like they're not going to fall out of there, and it's durable. Really decent knife. And yeah, made in Sweden there. So this is a really good knife for hunting or everyday, even fishing, whatever. It's pretty decent. And I have this knife here. This one is really cool. I think my friend sent this one to me. I'm not positive. I think he did. It's a really nice knife. Really solid, heavy construction. Can't say what this. It just says stainless on there, and then it's got. It says 440, but like, I mean, who knows really? It seems really decent, anyways. Whatever it actually is. And the compass on it is probably the best of all the compasses I've have. It's not a hollow handle knife, but the compass, you put it at the right angle and it actually works. Like it actually holds the proper direction. It's one of the best, and it's a decent knife. The handle's a little maybe overkill. It's a little bit too heavy, but this is a decent one here. And this knife here, I've had this for quite a while. I can't remember where I've got it, but there's a bear on the sheath. That's about all I can say for it. I really like this knife. I've used this knife. I've put it in the water, and it's had a little bit of abuse to it. Here's the markings on the blade. This is a really decent knife. This stuff on here is, after I took it out of the water, it got that crud all over. I don't know what it is. Just discoloring or something. Doesn't have a material on there, but it's probably like 440 stainless, just like the other knife. This one's just not quite as heavily built, but this is a good, this is a decent knife here too. And then another one that was sent to me by my buddy, because he knows I like knives, is this here. It's US Mark 1, which I believe they predate the K-bar knives, but they were sort of like the early variant of it, basically. And a guy's name is stamped on there. I'm not sure if it'll show up, but right here, I'm assuming it's the serviceman has put his name on there. They would have used these through Vietnam, and well, who knows how long they had them in service, as long as they were in good condition. And here's the blade here. It's been sharpened quite a bit over the years, and it's held up perfectly fine. The little nub on here is like a Bakelite plastic material. Some of them are alloy or brass, and then you've got the leather stacked handle on there, which is really nice. It's seen some hard use in its life, but it's a perfectly good knife. I like this knife a lot, though. It goes with my Vietnam collection of stuff. And here is a Cold Steel. Oh, this, I've actually been looking for this knife. I couldn't remember what I did with it, but this is a roach belly knife, is what they call it. It looks like that, and you can use it whatever. It's basically like the generic North American hunting style knife. Yeah, it says roach belly on there, and the Cold Steel there, and it comes with that like plastic style of sheath with it. So actually I'll keep that one out. And this one, I believe I got this at auction. Yeah, I got this at auction. It's one of those Tramontina like Brazil knives. They make all kind. I don't know how this company, if all they make is blades and they make like a million different kinds of blades, because I've seen this company make all kinds of different styles of knives. And this is it here. It's got even got like a bottle opener or something on there, and it's a pretty decent knife. They usually, these ones like, there's the markings on there, made in Brazil. Usually they're pretty decent knives. They're not like the highest quality knives, but they're pretty decent, especially for the price. It's not like they overcharge for them or anything, and you get the sheath. I mean, the sheath has to be worth something too. And here's this one I picked up at auction recently. This is one of those German style hunting knives, which I say have been superseded by the Swedish ones. And you should be able to see the markings on it, and if they show up on there. And this almost definitely would have had like a leather stacked handle, but this one has been replaced with a piece of deer antler somebody stuck in there, and it's perfectly fine. Like, it's not loose or anything like that, and it's a pretty decent little knife. You see these everywhere, and some guys think they're worth like $1 million, and some guys you just find them in like a bin or something, and they're pretty common here in North America, even though they are German made. I don't know how popular they are in Europe, or like, I only know them from here, and you see a ton of them here. And this little, another thing I like is dagger knives, and this one here is pretty decent. It's got a lanyard loop, and the serrations, for a dagger I could do without the little serrations in it. And it's another Chinese generic steel knife, rubber handle. This one is kind of a good, like a diving knife sort of thing. I don't know if that's what it's marketed as, because I have no idea how it's marketed, but anyways, there's this little knife is decent. And my kukri, I got this, actually was at a nostalgia show. Like they sell like old signs and like gasoline memorabilia type things like that. And I found this kukri, somebody had it, and they the person had no idea what they had, and I got this practically for free. And it's your kukri. It's not an original military kukri, although it is the military style of kukri. You can see it has the little notch here and the horn or simulated horn handle. It's peened over everything properly, and you get the little like sharpening blade and the skinning blade or whatever they call them in there. Really decent. It's a really decent, I don't know if I'd call it a copy or just a non-military kukri, but that's it here. You see the tip on the sheath. And then this I featured in another, like, this is that company from Brazil. This is like a mini machete. And I've taped the handle on it. And this one doesn't have unfortunately, the lanyard loop. Decent knife though. This was one of the ones that is in, or was brought in by Canada Ammo. I got this one. I can't even remember where I got this one. This is a copy of a US like bayonet. I think they call it the M7 or M8 bayonet. But it's got a really cheap plastic sheath on it. And I've tried it on rifles and it does not fit. It's got the latch and everything, but it does not fit on a rifle. It's pretty sharp though. 440 stainless again. Don't know who makes it, but I would stay away from this. I probably got it because it was cheap. It was probably at a show or something and it was cheap, so I just grabbed it. But it's a very cheap kind of crappy knife, and you can't even use it for display because it does not fit on an actual rifle. And this is another survival knife. This one's really cool. It's got all kinds of different little things. Like this is, I'm assuming it's a flint, or I'm assuming it's a flint and not a sharpener. And if I can get it out. Yeah, this here would be the sharpener, which is pretty decent. And the compass, I haven't really tested the compass. It's not pointing the correct way right now, so. But that's how these little compasses, you know, they're kind of hit or miss on these hollow handle style knives. Really decent sheath. And then it's like just total overkill, the blade, which is really cool. And they've made it sort of like the style of the AK bayonet, or like the modern American style bayonet, where that's supposed to be a wire cutter, but I don't see anything to hook it to. And then you've got the saw back on it, and then it's got a, I don't know what that would be for, because it's not gonna go on a gun or anything, but it's a very decent knife. And actually the weight of this knife is really nice too. That's a pretty cool one. I haven't really seen another one like this with the little Oh yeah, this one here, the flint, it's also a whistle. You can use it as, or not, yeah, the flint, you can use it as a whistle, which is pretty neat. So this is decent, and I like when they're practical like this. You could actually use it for something like as a survival type of knife, because it's not overly heavy. I'm not sure if I should split this video up into two or not. I might just split it up because I've got quite a few more to go through, so I'll just put it in. I'll just say this is the end of part 1, and if you want to watch part 2, I'll put it up shortly.